almost 5:30. So I'll be starting the conversation. We'll do a 5-second countdown. And we're going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Sat?
Yes.
Okay. Namaskaram, Vanakkam, Sat Sri Akal, Kemcho, and ciao to all our wonderful panelists. After a tremendous success of WEbTALK with P3 Solarium, here we are again with WEbTALK with P3 on a new topic, LUXURIOSUS. Lifestyle on a couch with prominent and eminent panelists from all over India, along with our foreign panelists from Italy. Luxurious is derived from the Latin word luxuria, which means luxuriant or exuberant. In spite of this global recession, I think luxury seems to be everywhere. Is it the price, the comfort, the quality, the brand's history, or some other indicator that identifies the brand as a luxurious one to the consumers? And that's our topic of discussion today. So without wasting much time, let me introduce you to our first panelist, Marta Pozzi from Italy, looking after international sales for Ludovica Mascheroni, a home atelier. She has done her master's degree in international management at Catholic University of Sacred Heart at Milan. She has also done her bachelor degree in intercultural and interlinguistic mediation. Her focus is on international sales of Ludovica Mascheroni home atelier, which specializes in tailor-made premium luxury furniture. Marta, welcome to WEbTALK with P3.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Hello. Thank you, Marta. And now we move on to architect Gayathri Shetty, co-founder of Gayathri and Namith Architects, Bangalore, popularly known as GNA. Gayathri Shetty studied architecture from BMS College of Engineering and along with architect Namith, started their practice in 1993. Team GNA has more than 70 professionals and they have been recognized through 27 national awards in architecture and interior design till date. Architect Gayathri Shetty was chairperson of IIID Bangalore Regional Chapter from 2014 to 2017 and was the member of National Executive Committee from 2017 to 2019. She is presently the Joint Honorable Secretary of the National Committee and the chairperson of IIID Design Excellence Awards. What an illustrious career, madam. Welcome to WEbTALK with P3.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Happy to be here and good evening to all.
Good evening, ma'am. And next we have with us architect Hameeda Sharma, founding partner of Aamir and Hameeda Interior Designers, also known as Ant from Hyderabad. Ant is headed by husband-wife duo Aamir and Hameeda. They graduated in 1997 from Module Design Institute in Hyderabad and started their own practice in the year 2000. They have in past 2 decades of practice won up to 20 national and regional awards for excellence in design. They were listed number 7 in the Forbes list of interior designers and architects to watch out for in 2010. What an achievement. And who does not know Aamir and Hameeda? Hameeda, madam, welcome to WEbTALK with P3.
Thank you so much, Mr. Roopesh. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And moving on to our next panelist, we have with us architect Shiv Dada, co-founder of 23DC Architects from Jalandhar. He, along with architect Mohit Chawla, founding partner of 23DC Architects, are successfully running the firm since 2009. The firm has completed many projects of different concepts on different scales. Many of their projects were published in architectural books and websites. And their latest completed project, an Indian modern house, got published in Arc Daily, IAG group of books, Arc Hello, and so on. The young firm, with its sheer dedication and hard work, has achieved splendid success and has become one of the leading architectural firms of North India. Let's welcome the young Dada of architecture, architect Shiv Dada. Welcome to WEbTALK with P3.
Well, that's a very beautiful introduction that you give. I'm very glad. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And last but second to none, we have with us architect Shresh Kashyap, founding partner of KNS Architects from Mumbai. KNS is a consortium and vision of architect Kanai Gandhi, architect Nimish Shah, and architect Shresh Kashyap. Architect Shresh graduated from the Academy of Architecture, Mumbai in 1995 and soon set up KNS Architects Private Limited along with Nimish and Kanai. Over the past 25 years, Shresh has been a major driving force for several independent and collaborative projects spanning national and international borders. The myriad of experiences and the strength of the three partners have helped catapult KNS Architects into the genre of leading design firms in the country today. We have one of the aces from the trio, Mr. Shrestha. Welcome to WEbTALK with P3.
Thank you, Mr. Roopesh, and hello to everyone. Good evening. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. Thank you, sir. And I am your host, Roopesh Gupta, co-founder and CEO of P3 Architectural Solutions. P3 Architectural Solutions is one-stop solution and a premium marketing company dealing in 18 to 19 international brands on an all-India exclusive basis. So coming to our topic, Luxuriosus, it is divided into three segments. Segment 1, Luxuriosus vis-a-vis luxury living lifestyle, that is L3. And the second segment is belonging to Luxuriosus vis-a-vis beautiful bespoke bedrooms, that is B3. And the third segment will be on a small presentation which is prepared by each of our panelists, which will be at the third. These three segments are common to all the panelists who will enlighten us with their views and comments. So let's begin with segment 1, luxury vis-a-vis living and dining spaces from an architect's point of view. And to begin with, architect Gayathri, we would like you to initiate the discussion. So kindly do the honors. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Roopesh. I think I wanted to say that homes are, the pride of any person, especially in India. I think people look at homes with a very different eye, especially for themselves. Having said that, living room areas and dining areas are all considered more or less public spaces, whereas bedrooms are considered as private. And when we have seen, when interacting with clients, interacting with owners, people, of course, everyone needs to prioritize when they want to spend money and when they, and what they would like to. That's always the discussion that we have with clients. And most often, people would like to spend, or they would like to prioritize and, give the most to living spaces and dining spaces. Previously, of course, you had a formal living and an informal living and all of it. But now you see a lot more people getting comfortable with one living space, and this is becoming more or less the norm, other than, of course, the very luxurious villas. And I think in future, this is what we'll see more of, where people will have, luxury, they will have comfort, and they will have a homeliness in their living space. And the continuation of living to dining is also something that we do see, of course, where the dining is also a space that would be both formal as well as, informal. So I think the point that I'm trying to make is that, it's really the pride of a family, the living spaces. And more often than not, people would like to have, like the best of the marble, the best of the furniture, and things like that in their living space. Even if you look at artwork, people like to have wonderful art on their living room, walls. So this seems to be something that, goes across whatever size, of home it is, whether it's a large, luxurious home, or whether it is, a small apartment.
Yes.
That's what I'd like to say.
Yes, you're very right, ma'am, that 80% of the footfalls are normally in the living and dining areas. And that is why you said that it is more casual in the living and it is more private in the bedrooms. So perfectly said, ma'am. So, and I would like to now hand over to architect Hameeda to have her thoughts on the same.
Hi, Gayathri has already initiated and I'll take it forward from there. What she said, one thing right about, everything is right, of course, but one thing which caught my attention was how clients have a certain budgets set for their common areas versus their private areas, and which I agree to. So when we take up a house to do, and normally when we talk about luxury houses and the segment of luxury which we work on, we don't I cannot say we have a budget, but at the same time, the client doesn't want to go overboard with it. So what I would like to add is the key elements which go into designing a living dining space or the common areas where we have maximum visitors coming to our place is how we end up budgeting, and we always tell our clients how to segregate a good budget for the living areas and the dining areas versus the private areas. So I feel when we talk about luxury, it's not just opulence or glamour. It can be a very understated, subtle, elegant place also. I mean that's uh, typically I would say how I would work. So when we talk about luxury or luxurious spaces, uh, keeping the architectural elements in mind, I would, divide my focus into different important areas or the budgets which go into the space. The key to a good luxurious space, I think, is other than furniture, which is the most important. I think what you need to do is select the right furniture, uh, which is very comfortable, of course. For me, if I start the process, it will be by selecting a furniture before making a concept so that I can work around the space. So once I do that, I would definitely look at uh, comfort, ergonomics, style, everything in my main couch. But I would also break it with certain nice offbeat pieces, which are more sculptural, maybe not very comfortable, but then they can be, they can add an element of spunk and design to the space. The other important aspects to designing a good living space would be lighting. I think the most important. The general lighting, what we do, the ambience lighting, what we create for different moods, like entertaining or, general family hanging out together. So with automation today, we are able to create those modes, and it's on a touch of a button. It's very easy to, create those and play around with different modes. So, I mean, sitting at home, I realize that every area I'm able to enjoy today, and enjoy the, though I thought initially automation was maybe not too practical to have, but I know that today sitting at home, uh, I enjoy every change of mood with every change of, a bit of lighting, which changes everything, the feel of the space. Coming to the other aspects, I feel uh, the walls which we can decorate, uh, depending on keeping the architectural elements in place, like a nice window which can be always decorated well, furnishings which are the most important aspect as well, coordinating the right fabrics with the curtains, the furniture, the cushions, the carpets, which play a very important role. Art, which is, I think, extremely important. It gets a lot of character to the space, and it gets a place all together. So, I mean, that's speaking about living rooms. Coming to dining areas, I think any area when we design, I think the utility part is the most important, other than the form, the function of the space, other than the aesthetics. So that is one thing we need to keep in mind while designing spaces, that we do not just lose the vision when we design the spaces. It's very important to keep the client's vision in mind, and design spaces around it. So when we come to dining areas, I think the most important aspect would be uh, the seating capacity or the room size, and depending on the room, the cozy, I mean, a square or a rectangular room or a big, nice dining area, how we can design and put elements of, luxury to amp it up. I think a good architectural light above the dining area. Of course, there is not much to do in a dining space, but it's more important how you get the whole dining area together by adding some art, some good lighting over your table, accessorizing the table with entire, different mood settings, etc. So I think luxury plays a very important role. I would say that in a shoestring budget also, if I have to do a space which is luxurious, it can be achieved by using different textures and different, fabrics and uh, colors, coordinated spaces with different art, etc.
Thank you, ma'am. You have defined luxury, and what I liked about that part was that when you said that you select the furniture and then design around it the luxury part of the living area. That's very well said. And pitching the same topic to the two gentlemen present on our panel today. So, Architect Shresh, the floor is all yours when we talk about luxurious living and dining spaces.
Okay, so how Hameeda and Gayathri mentioned, the living area is actually the face of the house. People, that actually is the public zone. So when you're designing such spaces, you got to be very careful that once a person enters, there's got to be, some kind of a sense of arrival, that you've arrived somewhere. Luxury can be expressed in, various forms. The luxury could be the way you design your shelf, that's your flooring, your wall claddings, paneling, ceilings. Luxury could be the way you accessorize the space. You could express it in that form. Luxury could be technology. Especially Ludovica has that amazing wall panel that you have as a unit. That is something that technology shows you the way things can be done. As again, how Hameeda and Gayathri mentioned, art. Art is becoming a very popular form of luxury right now. A lot of clients are going in for nice, well-known artists and putting their work on their walls. So that is a part of luxury. But of course, the most important, actually the hero of the entire project, of the entire space, is the furniture. Why? Because there's nothing else that has such a direct interaction with the people using it. So they are hands-on to it. So selecting of the furniture is one of the most crucial aspects of defining your space. It could be the proportions of the furniture, the brand of the furniture, what you're trying to say with the furniture. So there's a whole lot of things that goes into selecting your furniture and making a style statement. We've been doing high-end residences for quite some time now. And, once in a way you come up with a client, he's seen someone else's house and he comes and says, that house is wonderful, a lot of money spent. I don't mind spending more money, but I want it better than that. So luxury is not all about how much money you spend. Luxury is more about, understanding what your client is visualizing. You translate that through design, and along with that, you have to have an immaculate and an absolutely appropriate selection of all your finishing components. That includes all your selections of accessories, your lighting, your furniture, your art, everything. It's a whole package. There's nothing that, they all have to coexist and complement each other. So that's what I think that luxury interiors is all about.
Very well said. And I like the especially that sentence of yours that selection of furniture is the hero of the living room. So, and that is very well said. And that in fact is the hero of the living room. So I will now hand over the way to the young gentleman. Over to you, Architect Shiv.
Very interesting topics and very interesting points just made by the panelists. I think my take on this would be, clients may be rich or maybe they may not be that rich. But by the end of the day, an architect has the power to create that kind of luxury for him, which may or may not come with money. First of all, I think as an architect, we have the power to create. And our first take on creating a luxury interior can be pursuing it in a way where we can, play with proportions of the house. When I say proportions, what does that mean? In order to enhance the entire volume of a space, we can play with heights, or as we do it, we try and consider all these spaces like your living area or your drawing room or your dining area, bring them all together, and make them kind of a single huge bubble, And when somebody enters the house, when he experiences that kind of volume and proportions in terms of heights and even in terms of width and depth, that is the first wow, according to me as an architect. Now, after that comes your interiors. When you have a good shell, a good proportion, and a good volume in front of you, it acts like a beautiful canvas, an empty canvas to paint on. So on that empty canvas, then of course, how you try and accessorize it, you play with different you play with different shapes in terms of furniture, you play with different setups, different layouts, of course, different materials. Yes, one little aspect which I really look upon in my projects is that the element of nature, when it somehow one or the other way, when you try and make it enter inside the living space, it gives a very beautiful and a very innocent kind of luxury. So just you can have a feel of it sitting on a very luxurious couch and looking right outside your window on nature just breathing outside your living space. It gives a very innocent kind of an expression. That is certainly on top of our mood boards. Then of course when we come down to the basic and specific parts of interiors, luxury interiors, it comes down to your brands. And when you talk about brands, there are shapes, different materials, textures. Another thing which I would like to comment upon is we always keep in mind that whatever materials which we use in our luxury projects, they have to be natural somehow. When I say natural, it means like the kind of authenticity that you want in your project can only come through natural materials. Like it has to be leather. When you say leather, it has to be leather. When you put marble, it has to be marble. No matter what kind of a marble, it can be a very subtle sandstone, or it can be an out of the box, kind of an onyx or something, anything, but it has to be natural. So linens and all that. So that is the way we do it. That's our expression on luxury.
Well. It's very meticulously presented, and especially the proportion of the house and the elements of nature which you brought into the living area, that definitely defines luxury. And now I will, all are keen to listen to you, Marta. So please go ahead, and the floor is all yours.
Thank you very much, Roopesh. First of all, thank you for setting this up, because it's so important for our brand to continue to communicate with clients the Made in Italy in this difficult time. I would like to talk a little bit what makes a living space into a luxury space in our brand vision. First of all, what we always wanted to communicate to our clients, that for us a living space is an experience that has to involve all the senses. So we of course provided to our clients very harmonious and very harmonious interiors with shapes very well balanced. We also dedicate a lot of time to the light architecture, to the light design, that the light enhance the beauty of our furnishing. But another important point is that we wanted to involve all the other senses. So first of all, as it has been already well said, we always use natural materials because we care a lot about also the softness of our furniture. We use the most precious yarns, so silk, cashmere from the most prestigious brand. We always use real leather, Nabuc, and also wood essences for their fragrance. And another important thing that we try also to involve the hearing, because we designed this furnishing that integrated the sound system. So we have this boiserie, wall paneling with the sound system integrated. We have the sound beside the table with the speaker. So we think that to involve all the senses is so important, the use of high quality materials. We don't compromise. Our team of experts select carefully the leather heights, and also we select the stones. So before the cutting, our experts selecting in first person the marble slabs. So for us, it's a cornerstone of our brand vision. Another important thing is that we like to propose ourselves as a company that doesn't provide furnishing in general, but to provide furnishing that meet the client's needs and particular function. In fact, above all in this current moment that in which we are experiencing this social distance, the home will become more and more the center of the social life. So the home has to become more and more a place for hosting, for enjoying, for spending time with the loved one. And in fact, in this new collection that we are going to launch very soon, we wanted to propose this new design concept where we wanted to make the home renew itself and change itself. For example, we are going to launch this cabinet for the sofa garment. And another needs that we wanted to meet, thanks to our new collection, is the for open air activities. So we are going also to propose some little trunks with the champagne kit, with picnic necessities. This concept of furnishing that meets the center point of our new collection. And finally, one that is the most feature of our brand, the main feature of our brand, is the attention to details, not only the visible one, but also some non-visible details. There are a lot of customers that when they come to our showroom and they wanted to evaluate a piece, for example, an armchair, they turn it upside down because they also want to check the bottom finishing of the piece. So we give great attention also to the lining and of the non-visible part of the furnishing, and this is something that our clients are always surprised of and really care about.
Yeah, thank you, Marta. Let them turn your Ludovica furniture upside down, downside up. I know every part of it is real luxury. So surely you are one of the very premium luxury manufacturers for furniture. And thank you for your thoughts about it. So that comes to our first segment, which completes our first segment. Now, going to our second segment, it's all about beautiful bespoke bedrooms and wardrobes. And that is also in a luxurious environment from top to bottom. So we start this segment with architect Gayathri. So madam, what are your views on B3, that is beautiful bespoke bedrooms and wardrobes vis-a-vis luxury?
I think, to start with bedrooms, of course, being so personal, people really want to warm up to it. They want, they want to touch their hearts. So whether it's a master bedroom or whether it's a children's bedroom, it really has to speak to the person who's going to, be living in it. So there are such a variety, and I think as architects, we enjoy that creative energy to be really trying to see how we can connect this energy to, the owner or the person who's going to live in that space. Having said that, we also try and, we do a lot of furniture which is, could be, like branded or bought out, but we also do a lot of customization here. We like to see how we can bring in Indianness. I feel that, something that all of us across the country, I think, are looking at how to make our interiors, contemporary Indian, to kind of go with the soul that each of us has. So how do we bring that into spaces that are close to the heart? How is that, whether it is with art, whether it's with pieces of furniture, whether it is some memory that you'd like to bring to the room. These are things that, are what connects to these private spaces. I think children's bedrooms are always fun, and we've always, been able to do things, in various levels of luxury. In fact, recently we did, a boy's bedroom with actually Dilip Chhabria designing a small car which, had a TV unit, had a library unit, and all of it all in one, just as a centerpiece for this boy's bedroom. So, things people can, go to different extents to see, what can be done, and you know, as architects, we would also like to extend that creativity beyond. Coming to wardrobes, I think like never before, you know, the need of wardrobes is really the order of the day. When people come in, they, you know, more than the size of your living or your dining room, what is discussed at length is wardrobe space. And I think, you know, previously in all these years, at least, you know, about say 6 to 8 years back, I think it was always a question of the woman of the house having, you know, 3/4 the wardrobe size, and the man of the house only had 1/4. But believe me, in the last few years, things have changed completely. And in fact, we have had where the men have much larger wardrobe spaces than the women. So you can imagine the kind of space that we're looking at. I don't know how you'll manage it in Bombay because of, you know, paucity of space. Space. So, you know, it's fun. It's absolutely fun. I enjoy that whole area of really detailing a wardrobe, making sure that, you know, we have a space for everything so that, you know, nothing kind of goes unnoticed, so to say. Shoes, you know, purses, men's watches, men's collection of belts. Oh my gosh, you know, I mean, the more you think about it, there's that much more. So I'm going to let the others speak as well. So that's it from me.
Well said, ma'am. But you know, ma'am, the tussle between men and women and the dominance on the space on the wardrobe is going to continue. And I think women will always have 3/4. Come what may, whatever be the size of the wardrobes, still the 3/4 will be of the women, because men will be, you know, having almost 1/3 the size, whatever be the size. So well said, ma'am. It is a very nice point which you made. And let's see what architect Shesh has to say on this. Sir, over to you. Can you hear me, Shesh, sir?
No, I can't. I couldn't.
Okay. So I said now let's come to you as to what you have to say on the bedrooms and wardrobes, which so you can take the things forward from here.
So I, being a husband, won't comment on the size of the wardrobe because it is exactly what Gayathri was saying. So I pretty much have almost as much share as my wife does. So I'm going to just delete this part so she doesn't hear this. So bedroom, of course, is a very private space. Is there something wrong with the connection? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but I think, is your connection all right now, Shesh, sir?
Sorry?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, so as everyone would agree that a bedroom is a very personalized and a very intimate kind of a space. So one thing about, there's a very thin line of a bedroom from becoming, you know, beautiful and bespoke to becoming maybe boisterous and over the top. So you got to be very careful while you're doing that. It has to be, a bedroom has to be more inviting than intimidating. You know, the luxury has to be more cozy, more comforting. It's not about being about eye candy. It's got to be practical to use too. One thing very important in a bedroom is segregation of spaces, you know, because ideally you would want a separate area where you can lounge and sit, obviously your sleeping area, and of course a huge maximum area given to wardrobe space. Proportions is also very important in designing luxury bedrooms, because you can actually be more generous with the proportions out here, you know, because that demands, luxury demands that kind of proportion. And there are a lot of other things that are very crucial, you know, the way you tie up the entire space together, the shell together again, all the finishes that you do, it's got to be, everything has got to be more softer. It's got to be more homely. It's got to be more relatable, you know, rather than, it's very different from how you would design a public space, like a living space or a dining space. So this is, a bedroom is something which has to be more intimate, definitely, in every which way.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And now I will put the same question to architect Shiv. So can you just tell us about the bedrooms and the war on the wardrobes?
Sure, Roopesh, so already very interesting points made. I think my thing about bedrooms, designing a bedroom would be, you know, not any chance should be given to the client, husband and a wife to, you know, fight. And spaces should be completely different. I mean, if the husband tries to sleep and the wife, you know, she tries to watch TV, there should be different spaces, a different space to sit, a different space to, you know, lie down. And then when it comes to wardrobes, it certainly has to be he and she, and of course huge. Even when it comes to dressers, these days we are giving two different dressers, one for the he and one for the she, because whenever they have to go out for a party, it's a complete mess. So just to save all those fight, you know, cliche things, you have to, you know, get over it. Then I think even bedrooms are a very important part. Bathrooms are even a very important part of the bedroom these days. So we also try to club all of these spaces together, just like, you know, the bedroom and the sitting area of the bedroom, and then the walk-in wardrobe and the bathroom, in such a way wherein they are visible and they are also invisible somehow. So you should have different options to, you know, plus and minus the spaces altogether, which makes the entire space look very interesting. And it can be multi-purpose as well. And just like Sir very rightly said, that it should not be just, you know, kind of over the top. It should be luxurious. It should be plush. It should have, you know, different facilities. It should have amenities. It should have top of the line designs, but should not be, you know, you should not do over with it. Because by the end of the day, that is one space where you need to relax and should not be overdone.
Super. Well, you said about his and her wardrobes, but I think the gentlemen they get ready faster, and of course the beautiful women do take time, so they do need a bigger space. And who knows better than Hameeda ma'am, because I've heard that Aamir sir has 300 pairs of shoes, if I'm not wrong.
We'll get there. But let me tell you, after listening to everyone, it feels like we need to change the trend of designing bedrooms and have a Jack and Jill bedroom.
So the next part is yours, ma'am, Hameeda ma'am. So you can just continue on the bedroom and wardrobes, please.
Right. So what I was saying is, after hearing everyone out, I think it's a good idea to have a Jack and Jill bedroom. Sit with the door in the hotel. Okay, so coming to the storage, coming to the wardrobes first. I think it's a misconception that women have more clothes and shoes than men.
Well.
Yeah. I second that absolutely, because in my own place, we live in an apartment. I think for two of us, it's too big for us anyway. But the storage requirement never seems to get, be taken care of. We keep finding spaces, adding wardrobes and adding space, especially to store Aamir's shoes, what rightly Mr. Roopesh has pointed out. I think the only reason we need to move out of this apartment is we don't have enough space. The new house we are building now, I think we decided to go for lesser bedrooms and more walk-in wardrobes. And something which can be extended in the future also if required more space. So I think that's a debate always. Storage spaces today compared to about 10-15 years back, say 20 years back when we started, the solutions today, Italian solutions today are so much more organized and compartmental. compared to what we used to do in-house. The kind of hardware which is used, the kind of lights, integrated automation systems which are there, technology, the spaces they have created, islands to store the right accessories, watches, bells, jewelry, uh, shoes. I think uh, when we have space, we can just have a ball with it. It's as simple as that. Considering while designing our spaces, this is one thing which comes from our clients saying that they require a lot of storage space. And while designing, while doing, a house architecturally, we manage to give them enough space. When we don't have, when we take up an apartment to do, or we take up a ready house to do from the shell stage, we still have to manage with a lot of wardrobes with the given spaces. Which becomes a part of a bedroom, which is very normal uh, uh, in regular spaces. Mm, I think coming to bedrooms, like everyone said, it's a very personal and intimate space. I think this is one room or one area where we always keep our clients' requirements in mind while designing the space. Uh, I think the space has to be very cozy, has to be very warm, and has to be very inviting. That's the most important thing. Uh, Segregation of room, like Shresh said, is important. Uh, One person wants to watch TV, other person wants to sleep. The luxury of having that is very seldom, because I mean, when we work on bigger spaces, it's an option. But when it comes to apartments, I think we are stuck with a small bedroom where we just have to put two chairs and do with it. But otherwise, when we are designing bigger homes, we do make suite rooms and try and accommodate a TV area and segregate the bedroom totally, so that none of them are disturbed. That's very important. Lighting again plays a very important key factor. Uh, the how you do up the spaces is important. Having ambient lighting, very important. Having reading lights, very important. I think just and the most important thing I feel in a bedroom, because you can't do much, cannot overdo with design, is you can play with furnishing. Uh, a nice window, uh, done up well with curtains, coordinated well with nice linen, and a lot of cushions which add a lot of glamour, carpet, well coordinated with the whole theme of the room, etc. I think converts the entire room. And the most important aspect, the most important thing is the mattress. Comfort is the most important factor of a bedroom. You have such great varieties of mattresses available today. People with back problems, people with any kind of problems, they have variety of mattresses to choose from. So initially it was just the beds we used to look into, but nowadays mattress has become a subject, like wardrobe has become a subject. So I think all these uh, elements get the whole space together. And I think the simple bottom line of designing a bedroom is to keep it warm and cozy and practical.
Thank you, ma'am. I was just wondering, I was just counting my mats and thinking that Aamir sir has 300 pairs of shoes, and there are 365 days in a year, and maybe 60 days are holidays, maybe 52 weeks of a Sunday. So when does a pair gets a second chance to be in Aamir sir's shoes? That is what I was wondering.
That's a very good question.
So anyway, now thank you, ma'am, for your insight on bedrooms and wardrobes. And coming to Marta, of course, you would be very eager to pounce on this, because you are making one of the best wardrobes of the world, if I could say that. and you are really having a lot of things to say on the beds and the wardrobes for sure. So over to you, Marta.
Yes, thank you, Roopesh. First of all, we have talked a lot about custom made. That's what we do best. So for us, it's always the great opportunity to express all our creativity. And yes, the bedroom is the most private space in the home. But for us, this doesn't mean that we have to give less care to the furnishing, quite the opposite. So we have in collection these great majestic Edwards, but also better with simple lines. And we can custom made these Edwards, this bed frame basing on the layout of the bedroom and of course basing on the client taste.
Marta, can be a little louder, please? A little louder, please.
Yes, sure.
Yes,
can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
So in our bedroom, the technology meets the handcraft, because we always propose these very cutting-edge technologies. For example, we have great proposals for this security system that we can integrate it in our boiserie, but also in our working closet, like these hidden compartments that can be opened by touch-sensitive opening, or this security compartment that can be opened through finger recognition. And also we give this great attention to the domotic system of our working closet to regulate the lights, to regulate these maybe extractable columns with mirror or with watch markers. So this is well requested by our clients. And also for us, the most important thing about working closet, we have this great, beautiful working closet cabinet, this masterpiece of cabinet making in our collection. And the most important thing is also to preserve and to take care of the intimate things and most private things that are in this storage in this working closet. For this reason, we have launched also this great system for sanitation through the ozone that allow to eliminate all the smells or the germs and take care of the garments inside of the wardrobe. This ozone system can be custom made on entire working closet, but also only on some modules of the working closet, or only a trunks, little trunks or a little wardrobe. So we have this great solution for taking care of what's inside the wardrobe. And the customization of our wardrobe is at maximum level, because sometimes the client tell us the number of shoes that they have, and we create these racks according to the number of shoes. So we really take a customization to the maximum level possible. And this is what we do best.
Thank you, Marta. Yes, you have very gizmo type of wardrobes where you have all the gadgets which possibly a client wants, whether it be a rich watch winder, whether it be a biometric, or whether it be your ozone gas, which we were talking of, that it would cleanse and clean or sterilize the clothes which are inside the wardrobe. So definitely it's one of the best wardrobes which I have ever seen. So thank you on the second part. That comes to the end of our part 2 or the second segment, and now we quickly go to the third segment, which is on the presentations by the panelists, showcasing their work relating to premium luxury furniture. And here I would like to start with Shiv Dada. So Mr. Shiv Dada, you can start the presentation
Sure.
for all the viewers to have a look at your work.
Sure. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
All right. So, Roopesh, I would like to start off with a project. First of all, I would like to show you the exteriors of the project so that we can easily correlate about the interiors.
Yeah.
So this was a very luxury project down here in Punjab, and the client was basically a banquet owner, and he was a very party kind of a person who wanted, he had the the liking of inviting people into his house for parties and everything. So what we did here is that the interesting fact, this is the ground floor, and the middle floor, and then the top floor. So the top floor of the house was actually his living area. So when you say how practical is that, it really depends upon the client, because he had a need and he wanted some kind of a mammoth space wherein he can, relax and sit down, have nice parties, and even for himself. So if I talk about that space, so I've particularly chosen this project because this was kind of, more related with luxury and luxury brands and all that. So this is when the lift opens up onto the top floor. What you see here are different sittings. So the concept was to make it look a little outdoor, although the space was it was a humongous living area for the client, wherein he wanted to have some kind of water bodies and some kind of if you just look closely, you have date palms growing on top of the roof, and you have a little projector projecting a huge screen on the wall right opposite. This is where the lift actually opens up on the top floor. And when you reach this place, this is a little kind of a glass floor, wherein you can see a little streak of it's actually a chain of the chandelier down beneath of the duplex. Wow. So you see an inverted image of the entire huge chandelier which is hanging right beneath it. And then what you see on top of it here is a retractable roof, which can be opened up as per, since we are based out of Punjab and the weathers are very extreme. You get extreme heat, you get extreme cold, and you get a lot of rainfall. So this made quite a lot of sense, because once you open it, a lot of fresh air, keeps on coming, and the entire space is ventilated. And whenever, even if you want to have a fireplace going on in this area, so this can be converted into an open roof. Anyways, the height of this entire space, as I was discussing about proportion earlier on, the proportions here you can see in terms of depth and height are pretty huge and lavish. Then you have different places. As you see, these are two little recliners at the corner, and you have little water bodies, serene water bodies on left and right of the sittings. And then you have little these bespoke kind of wall claddings, where you can see this brass inlays happening, inside this Gwalior sandstone. And then you have these concrete panels, just to give it a little subtle look, because most of the elements here, because of a luxury project, they are little, outspoken and little bold. So we wanted to have a wall which acted as a background, a little subtle background, which can be, which makes the entire space looks a little subtle. Then you have Bisaza and other, stitches and all those things happening here. You see this gold mosaic, because mosaic, when you enter through the lift and you see this wall right in front of you, it's a luxury wall right in front. The most interesting part here, although, was this place, wherein you can see these blinds. These are all done on automation. And when you want this place to be completely privatized, you simply, on a click of a button, it comes down, and this entire space becomes completely private. So this floor on top of which the entire furniture setup has been kept is glowing, and you have a very fancy looking bar over here, because he was, as I told you, a very party kind of a guy. And then you have the music system and everything working all over the place. Second part of the house was the formal space. This is his drawing room, wherein we had in mind, to put specific brands. So this one was done by Atelier, and the carpet was Roberto Cavalli. This was the little outcome of the design that we implemented. So as I was mentioning about having what do you call natural materials in terms of luxury, what I meant was, like you see, Marta just spoke about having Nabuk leather. So this entire thing was done in Nabuk. And the top of the, these center tables are also cladded with leather, and top of it you have And then you have signature chairs with, you know, a tiger head on it, wherein you can just keep your arms. And then, of course, the accessories are very important, as we rightly said. You know, all of us discussed about it. You can see the lampshades, the chandeliers, and the little accessories all over the place. Then was the living area. This was that was the one which I showed you earlier on, was the bigger space. That was the bigger living area. And this is a small little waiting area, or a little small what do you call, a living area on the ground floor. So this one was done by Gamma, and wherein we played with forms. So the furniture was in curves, and just to break the monotony of straight lines, we went into some fluidic forms. And of course, as I discussed with you earlier on, we gave a little element of nature. And when you open up those curtains, you can straight away walk onto the green grass barefooted. Talking again about the natural materials used here, the floor is entirely done in solid wood. The furniture is entire leather. And this certainly is an interesting part. This was the bedroom, along which he has a huge walk-in closet with a space to sit in between and to decide what he has to wear. And then you walk onto this space wherein you have the wash basin, and on your right you have a dresser. Then again, this was all check glass, check crystal, and then you have it, you know, cladded with leather just to give it a little luxury feel. This was a little interesting thing here. This was the bedroom, and since the client was in love with Versace, we planned to you know, give the entire Versace logo on the wall. So this is actually engraved on Satvario, and use of different marbles. Coming out of this project, not taking much of time, just wanted to share this little image with you. I had collected these two images out of our projects. I discussed about bringing the nature element inside. Although this is another bedroom, bespoke bedroom, a luxury bedroom, wherein you have furniture done in Nabuk, and you have a luxury wallpaper on the wall and all that stuff. You have a little space outside, wherein it's a courtyard right in the center of the house. So when it rains, you actually experience rain right inside the house and from the bedroom. So he can just simply open up this door and he can walk on to this part, which was pretty interesting. And then again, all the components here, like you see on the wall, the marbles and everything is all natural, natural rusty wooden floor. So this is one version of having luxury. The second, and of course, my favorite way of luxury, our favorite way of luxury, is something like this. So Roopesh, you mentioned about an Indian modern house when we started. Yeah. This was one of our projects which got a lot of appreciation around the world. This is the Indian modern house, and the reason why it got a lot of prominence was that the entire you know, the material palette used in the house was very natural, and of course made in India. Now this is a complete made in India house. So why am I showing you this house is that there are definitions to luxury, as I said. So this is the luxury of the house. The entire house looks onto a you know, a lawn strip. And then this is how you walk towards the entrance of the house. And then you take a right and you're right inside the house. Most of the marbles and stones used here, just like you see the man where he's walking on the floor, this is a very rustic kind of a floor. And this is, you know, all of these marbles are acquired from India itself, from Rajasthan, most of them. It's like this particular wall right in front is done from Lalitpuri yellow. And then, of course, you have different spaces where you can relax. Now, this tree which you see is actually growing on top of a mandir, which we placed outside the house. So this was the daughter of the house, daughter of the client, and she can just come out of the room, sit here on the little swing, and she can watch she views outside, which otherwise would have been a dirty rooftop. We converted it into a kind of a big planter. And this is actually the complete picture. So there you see the tree growing on top of it. That's about it. And another thing, without taking much of your time, I thought this would be interesting. Another project that we are working on, just a glimpse. This is the entrance. So the entire proportion is actually double heighted. When I say double heighted, it's not just 24 feet. It's a monumental scale, 30 feet high, soffit. So you have an internal courtyard, and then on the right, what you see is a drawing room. So now, again, what you see here, the entire space, right from the dining to the drawing room to the entrance, are all double heighted. So this gives you a little wow factor, apart from what luxury elements you're putting in, apart from your furniture, your chandeliers, like you see this hand weave silk carpet, right, mounted right on the wall, like a mural. That's about.
Superb. Wow, that was luxury at its best. I could really say, Shiv Dada, splendid job done, and
Thank you very much. Thank you.
very well presented. And I move over to the other boy of the house, to Shrey sir. Shrey sir, can you just give a presentation of your projects on luxury?
Okay, just tell me if my screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Can you see?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we've done is basically what we are presenting is how luxury can be expressed in various different styles. So I'll just take you to not one project, but quite a few projects that we have done, just to show that how luxury has been expressed in each of them. So that's of course our KNS architects. That's our core team that is very instrumental in us coming out with the work that we do. So these are some.
Sir, your
something that's very important now. That's a Soho house based on the architecture. Some interiors of luxurious projects that we've done. What I'm showcasing is we are working on four villas right now for 4 brothers, and each one had a very different concept of what the interiors or their styling would be. So what I'm showing you right now is going to be images of areas from each villa. The plan is the same for all. So I'm going to show images of each villa and how we've treated each concept differently from the other for each of the brothers. And it starts from the oldest having the a very classical touch and feel to his house. So this is the Villa 1. This is a central court that we have for him. If you go to the second one, it is more like a fusion design. So again, it's a different form of an expression for the house and very different from the other one. The third brother wanted something slightly more contemporary and more, more today. So this is his central court. And the fourth one, the youngest one, wanted something absolutely something modern and minimalist. This is how we treated this courtyard. The next series of photographs show the entrance foyer and the living area. This is again for the first villa. Then we come to the second villa. Again, this is the fusion. This is the way the third villa looks. And this is the fourth one. And so on for the dining areas. Villa 1, Villa 2, 3, and 4. And finally, the bedrooms. So each house, each villa has been treated respecting the kind of vision and the kind of thought the client has. And it's very interesting because 4 of them are so drastically different, and the houses have to look different. So this is a very interesting. Okay, now we come to this project that we had finished in Delhi. It's about a AAA. So the main idea of this house was to make it look, but yet understate. Very narrow and elegant and very subtle. Not like in your face. So here we made the shell more or less pretty neutral. So the shell was not too much happening around in the shell. We accessorized a lot. We worked with about 3 or 4 companies majorly. Like we worked a lot with Fendi on this for the furniture. We worked a lot with Roberto Cavalli. Like if you see, this is the living area that we have. So you can see both the seatings are segregated. There's a different kind of a feel to each seating. These were the powder rooms and the bathroom areas of the house. So even the selection of materials for the shell was done in such a way that it it was elegant. It wasn't like over the top. A view of the dining area. Again, we're working with a lot with Roberto Cavalli on this. So this was something very different from the rest of the house. This was actually the TV room. So here we had furniture from Walton Hall, which was luxurious, but at the same time very comforting and very cozy. The best portion of this house is actually the entertainment zone. So this is a part of the bedroom. Uh, Another bedroom for the daughter. The best part of this house is actually this zone, which is the terrace. The terrace has a roof of almost about 800 square feet. So what we did out here was made it very quirky. But here also the sense and the feel of the house was maintained, but it was much more quirky and much more fun. It was more like an entertainment zone. And it actually opens out into a nice big terrace, and it has a retractable roof. So like how she was saying earlier, that Delhi has a very good climate, and this can be used for about almost 6 to 7 months of the year. So this was something very interesting that we added to the space. And the client just loves it, and this is the place that is being used most in the house. From this, we go to another apartment that we've done. It's about it's in Mumbai. So here, this is very different from the earlier one. Here, we have actually given a lot of detailing to the shell of the space in terms of the way the flooring patterns are, the way the wall claddings are, and the way the plain the ceilings are. And again, you see the selection of furniture here again is from 3 or 4 brands particularly, and the furniture, the accessories. So everything put together are actually done in such a way that they complement each other. Another view of the living space, the powder room, the dining areas. This is the movie room and the master bedroom. This again is the daughter's room, and the daughters actually, it was very interesting. There were 2 daughters. They didn't mind sharing a room, but they wanted a lounge for themselves. So this was again a nice, where they could hang out with their friends. So here, even if you see the way the furniture selection is, it is again very young, very playful, and very, very quirky. This we are doing is it's another replay in Mumbai. The idea was that the taste meant to look slightly more opulent. So if you see the way the ceiling is done, the way the palette is, it was all to make it look more opulent. The other advantage that we had in this space was there were a lot of double volumes and double heights. There was a lot of natural light coming. So we actually could, balance it out with using these dark tones and these dark shades in the entire house. So here the entire language was being slightly bolder in form, in terms of the treatments, and even in terms of the way the furniture was selected. There's a view of the dining, a view of a lounge on the first level. And this is, of course, the master bedroom. The final project that we're going to show is basically it's a triple again in Mumbai. Here, the idea was make the entire space very easygoing, very easy flowing, pretty warm in character, but highlighted with certain design elements like, say, the light here, or the cantilevered staircase in steel, or even the piece of furniture as you see here, treatments on the wall. So there were actually elements which created the wow factor, and more or less the rest of the house being very simple and sober and a very easygoing house. So what actually we are trying to show is through all these projects is that luxury can be expressed in various ways, and each one can still have its own uniqueness in them. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shreyas. That was really luxury.
I don't know why this is not coming on. Just a minute.
No problem, ma'am.
Will you go ahead with Hameeda? I'll get this set.
Yeah, okay. Okay, over to you, Hameeda. So we can just take on with your presentation first.
So just put together a collage of 4 projects, just showing the main areas which is the topic of discussion today: living areas, dining areas, bedrooms. Starting from the first, this is a house we've done in a gated community, which is just interior, and uh, the whole setup, the furniture, the backdrop. What you see is we've used a lot of branded furniture here. Like the couch you see is an Aston Martin couch. Then you have the decastly paneling behind the staircase. Uh, we like to use a lot of natural elements in our sites, along with using marble here. We've also used a little bit of natural stone, and you see some nice, beautiful floss lights which are coming down over the double-edged ceiling. Now we have 2 areas seen here. One is the informal area, which I would call the family room, and one the formal space, which we are looking at right now, with the Roberto Cavalli sofa. And in the backdrop, as the sofa speaks volume itself, is kept the background simple. The whole interior is pretty simple, with a bit of a paneling and letting this, sofa take the center stage, with the Minotti center tables and a little bit of art. We have the dining area here. I think our chairs itself are quite sculptural. So we've kept it very simple, with a little bit of art and a good, just a backdrop of a little bit of color. The chairs and the table, what you see here, are from Purada. Now this is another house. No, sorry, this is the same house. We are looking at the bedroom. One of the biggest rooms in the entire house, that's the master bedroom. I don't have the picture of the walk-in, but I do, because it was not really enough. We have what you can see, the leather-cladded panels on the side, which are an extension to the storage space they require. Pretty much we have concentrated over the bed and defined the bedroom with the ceiling, and segregated the space by doing so. We have nice floss lights, and the entire furniture here is Sultana Frau and Giorgetti. This is another house. It's a farmhouse, a very contemporary, minimal farmhouse, which looks out for 10-acre bit outside. So we've tried to capture the view here, so that becomes a major backdrop. The green, the pool, the bar area, which you can see outside, that becomes like a backdrop for the main living space. Other areas we've tried to create where we're looking to another neighbor's plot. So we have a lot of courtyards in this farmhouse, and the courtyards are giving you adding The furniture is from Casina and Kostrana Frau here. Again, another area of the house. We have detailed the space. Again, it's overlooking the view. So we have wallpaper, we have book paneling, and again, the Casina sofas and Kostrana Frau. Then we have the bedroom. Again, as the plot was segregated, and as you know, we follow Vastu intensively in Hyderabad. The whole house is located on the southwest of the entire plot, so which is connecting and shares a common wall to the neighbors. So they have created a boundary which is almost 10 feet. The height of the ceiling, what you see here is at least 2 feet. So we have full privacy from the bedroom side. The bed again here is Poltrana Frau, all the furniture. Coming to another house which is totally a fusion house. You can call it a neoclassical rustic house, which we have done. This is a den area in the basement and more of a recreational area where we have tried to make it very cozy and formal at the same time, so that when the client wants to host a party, this is a perfect place, and it's segregated. It's totally in a different level, so it doesn't disturb the top floor with the family being around. So we have a library, we have a home theater, and we have a bar here. And we have some source of light coming through the water body indirectly, so that we have some kind of natural light coming. This is a very understated space, the dining area. As we have kept the space, the highlight of the space, I would say the architecture of the space is so beautiful. And we have beautiful wooden roofs, and we have the Spanish windows, which you see above the main window panes which are open. We try to keep that as a main element of design and work around it. So we wanted to keep the dining area very simple, and again, yet get that of a little formal feel by adding those beautiful chandeliers which come from the market. And of course, the staircase, which is very modern. This house is we call it the Spanish modern house. This is a nice space and a good example how you make the outdoors part of indoors. So it just opens up, and you have the beautiful water body and the garden beyond it, and it's just connected to nature. All the materials what we've used, if you see the cladding on the walls, like I said, the lighting is very important. You can see in all my sites, we play with a lot of indirect lighting and general lighting and decorative lighting. I think that adds a lot to the interiors. This is the overview of the formal living space of the same house, again, which opens out to the greenery and the pool area of the house. And this is the master bedroom. Again, like you see, it's very minimal in terms of design, because we wanted to keep the architectural elements alive. We wanted to highlight the beautiful natural wood ceilings, which are the roofs which are done, and which is the main slab of the building with tiles above. This is another interesting house. I wouldn't call it fusion, but I would call it a courtyard house. And it was done for a friend's parents' place, which we had done. And the expanse of the living dining area was quite big. And you can see how we have the gardens and the courtyards opening out in this space. So we have tried to, create one more internal courtyard, which disconnects or just gives a division from the open kitchen to the main formal area, as well as it provides like a nice green backdrop for this area. So we have the formal space, what you see for dining area. It doesn't require any detailing because it has so much of greenery in courtyards and water bodies and other things which are highlighting around it. And then we have a breakfast area which connects the courtyard to the kitchen, which is usually used on a daily basis by the family. This is a formal space. You can see, I'll show you this picture first. This is a nice double height living space, again looking out to the nice green areas. And we have the luxury of height here. And as the expand of the living room is quite separate, we have used wood, and we have used cladding of wood and wallpaper to get the place together, make it much more warm. And we have kept the furniture very minimal and simple, and we've let the nature speak. And this wall, what you see, is part of the same area where we have the cluster of Mumbai. This is the bedroom, very practical, and to the point, client, how the client wanted, very simple, practical. Thank you.
That was simply wow, I must say. It's like a mixture of colors, bright colors, different style. So that is your signature, Aamir, 100% your signature. So thank you so much for that presentation. And now I'll come back to Gayathri madam. So can you please show your presentation, ma'am?
Give me a moment.
Yeah, no problem, ma'am.
I think, I've shared that presentation. Maybe we can share it from there.
Yeah, I'll just tell Praram, the coordinator, to do it. Let me see what he can do. Yeah, I think he's doing it. Praram is doing it from the, yeah.
Yeah. So of course, this is just a collage of different works that we showcased, and some of the work that we've done. Next, a little bit to showcase on the elevation, which is a house which features more of the water in front and connects the lake to the house with the swimming pool in between. So if you see the plan, our houses mainly look towards having a lot of outdoor space, and we encourage a lot of outdoor living, considering we're in Bangalore. And most of our clients are really, encouraged to really have these spaces which are both outdoor as well as indoor, and, like a semi-indoor space. So this is the elevation. Next. This is what it looks like at night, and you can see that the facades are all glass, and we have a height of 12 feet, where the whole area overlooks the garden, and you're immersed by the greenery and the water body that's in front. Moving into the house, we have a central courtyard, which is a concept, of a traditional Hindu home or an Indian home. And it of course is covered by a skylight. What I want to bring to notice is really the sculpture that's done by Dimpy Menon, and the light fixtures which are done by Jenny Pinto, very much in Bangalore. And they're both, curated pieces for the space itself. Also, if you can see that, it's a very transparent home. You can look from, though it's a large home, it's, you can see right through the house from on both ends, right from the living to the dining. Yeah, next. So this is the living area. Again, we have a little minimal, style over here in this particular home, where the concentration is really more about the outdoor. The furniture is all Italian, and the flooring itself, if you notice, is also something that's really curated. It's a bespoke resin flooring done by Riccardo, a friend from Italy. We've also used a lot of natural materials which are on the walls, slate both externally as well as internally. We'd like to use various pieces which are for lighting and are also sculptural. Next. Like I said, outdoor furniture is a part of being outdoors in Bangalore, and having veranda spaces and spaces in front of the garden make it an important area where furniture becomes an important space. So like you see here, this space is used on a regular basis, almost every evening, to enjoy Bangalore's climate. Next. Coming to the bedrooms, this is again a bedroom, a view from the inside where you have a window seat, and you have a view of the greenery outside, the lake outside. On the left, the lake is covered by hyacinth at this particular moment when this picture was taken, and there is a happy situation where we have branded furniture with curated seating, just sitting side by side, and I think that is what really makes it a lot more homely. Yeah, next. The guest bedroom having again a minimal look, of course using solid wood for the floor to give a feel of luxury, but just giving a little effect by having exposed concrete ceiling and a huge window which overlooks the garden and the lawns beyond. Next. A view of the skylight and the volume that is in the center of the house, where the courtyard is with different sculpture. It also has on one side a very sculptural staircase with a huge natural rock, which is really the center of this volume, so to say. You can see the black slate, which is at the background, and the light falling in really creates a very different kind of vibe throughout the day. Next. We have the dining area is simple, and the effect of the artwork really is brings the focus onto the wall, which is again the black slate wall, which continues through from the living to the dining area. On the left hand side, you see a breakfast table with seating again overlooking the garden. So all in all, a very transparent home looking into the garden on all sides. Next. To complement this look, we have a puja room, and here we had invited artists from Kerala to come and do their traditional mural art on the entire wall. And this Indian art really brings the Indianness into a very contemporary home. We work with the Indianness, we work with the rustic use of stone. If you see the puja slab is really a very raw cut stone, which is used, and again overlooks the greenery on either side. Next. This is another house again where we have used more of a Mediterranean look, and the idea again is to keep it very simple, but make use of the space as a luxury space. The whole volume in the plan, you can see the living and the dining really being one space, and coming out into the veranda. Next. So the inset that you see is really a log, which is the dining table, which you can see from an upper level. The railing really folds over and becomes the seating on one side of that dining table. And the wooden slab that you have has been cut into various sizes. One of it is the bar that you see on the right-hand side. There is the glazed door that goes and kind of divides these two spaces, which is the living and dining, and the veranda on one side. So what happens is, on a daily basis, there is a single door that opens, and the veranda gets used on a daily basis. But when they have get-togethers and parties, this entire space, which opens out into the garden, really has room for at least 200 people. The furniture here, is mixed. If you see here in the bedroom, what we have done is we have used concrete. We've built up the bed, and we've, tried to do a different kind of, feel for this particular space, giving a long ledge for, curios and things that you would like to keep. The image on the left shows the bar and how it interacts with the veranda and the garden and the water body. The water body is in front of the guest bedroom, which has a little deck and seating there as well. Next. Large home, just a little bit regarding this. The client actually bought two sites. One first for the house, and then later on bought the second site adjacent to it for an entertainment space. So the space in between really became a very, very lush garden, which is used both on a daily basis as well as when they entertain. Next. Yeah, next. So this is a space that you can see. A deck that they use on a daily basis, and with very comfortable furniture. We also have the living room also comes out into this space. So this space really becomes an evening space, which is an everyday affair. Next. This is a formal living room, and really gets used very rarely, to be honest. And though of course it has the best furniture and the best art and things like that, because people prefer, once after coming in and sitting in for some time, then they would like to really walk out and be more in the garden, which has an outdoor bar as well as an indoor bar. Next. This house has a fancy dining space, which again opens out into the garden. Versace dining table with chairs, and a very beautiful backdrop for the dining area. Next. Even though this house has a lot of branded furniture, what we wanted to do was also curate certain things. So we looked at a few pieces of furniture, the knob of the main door, We looked at the puja room ceiling. We looked at some seating which was outdoor. And on the right-hand corner, right-hand side, you can see, the entrance into the living room coming in through this bridge, so to say, which has water bodies on either side. So it really is walking through green and water into the dining area. The living room is off from the on the left-hand side of the main door itself. Next. Bedrooms are, clean and comfortable, and furniture again has been, chosen with comfort in mind. Next. This is a space which is a very, is a popular space in the house, which sits between the main house as well as the entertainment space, and it's an outdoor bar. So the client being outdoor people and being, people who entertain very often, this with a, the backdrop is a curated one. It's a bespoke one that we have designed, whereas the bar itself is, from Dada. Next. This is the entertainment space, which is a large space with your, projector and screen and things like that. We have a large indoor bar as well, and this is where they can kind of, pump their music up so that, whatever time it is, the neighbors don't need to get disturbed. Next. The setback on the rear was also some area that we looked at to showcase in green. So even though we have, hardly a 8 feet setback, what you can see is a heavily greened area, which works as a buffer between this space and the neighboring space. And also is a very extravagant space in terms of, volume and floor space. Next. This is a house that we've done in Hyderabad. And what we like to do is really, do some interesting staircases. So if you see in the various houses we've done, we like to kind of take a new look at the staircase every time. So this staircase again has a different effect, and it has a water body, next to it. So, the wall has some dramatic pieces. So all in all, is quite an interesting effect as soon as you come into the house. It's near the lobby area. Next. So this is the living room area where we have, furniture, branded furniture. But again, if you see, we have a lot of, window space. Both sides are really window walls on either side, which overlook the garden. The living lighting also is done by Anvi, who is again, a light designer from Mumbai. Next. This is a simple lounge area, which really is their space next to their formal dining area. So it becomes a spillover space from the dining, which really has to, this is a politician's home. So very often he does have people over for dinner. So this had to be a continuation of, understated luxury. Next. The dining room with some, interesting pieces of art and furniture as well. Yeah, next. This is a guest bedroom where, again, we, did something that is bespoke. The backdrop of the bed is actually done by Anvi, who put together, this huge backdrop, which is really roses made of red felt. So it's a very textured feel, and it has, it's really something that is the focus of this bedroom and gives it a very luxurious look, even though overall it's, there's not too much happening in this room, but at the same time, you can feel that luxury. Next. One of the other bedrooms. Some of this furniture, of course, is made on site itself, and wallpaper for the backdrop. All the soft furnishings have been done by Gayathri from Bangalore. Next. Different areas of, the daughter's room and the son's room, and, another guest bedroom. Next. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And I think you have a treasure of projects. Wow. And of course, these are just a few of the 25 years which we have put into architecture. Thank you so much. And I think Marta's eyes are lit up seeing the work of the top of the top architects. And surely she knows that whom to catch to sell her furniture. So over to you, Marta, for your presentation.
Yes, I would like to share with you a video clip to show a little bit our handcraft background and some highlights from our collection. Here we go. That's it.
Thank you, Marta. So
Thank you.
that was really very luxurious furniture which you make, and definitely I think this will create a lot of impact to the Indians when they come and see the products of yours in Italy. Maybe what time when they can come is definitely a question mark. So anyways, thank you for the presentation, and now we go to our question answers segment, and we are fortunate to have with us Sumit Dhawan, who was our panelist for our first web talk with P3. He's been watching us, and he has a question to the panelists. So he will be asking the question live to us. So I think if Sumit can hear us, over to you, Sumit.
Hello, everyone. It's not of a question. Just one sec.
Yes, Sumit.
My voice is echoing.
No, we can hear you clearly, Sumit.
1 minute.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's not really a question. It's more of a topic which can be debated. So when we talk about small houses or apartments in India, why don't we consider a volumetric approach to the planning along with an appropriate use of technology and automation, allowing the same small bedroom to be used for sleeping while the spouse is watching a movie, giving him an experience of first or business class, which to me is luxury. So I feel the need of an hour is to start describing spaces volumetrically in cubic feet or cubic meter, as opposed to aerial nomenclature of square feet or square meter. Over to you guys.
Yeah, so thank you, Sumit, for listening to all our web talk and coming up with such a brilliant question. So I think we can dedicate this, or we can ask this question to Shiv Dada, if I could see him nodding, so he could give an answer to that.
I couldn't get the question exactly though, but I think what he's pointing at is about an approach wherein furniture and lighting and all those things are secondary, and the volumes and the planning comes first. Am I right?
Not really.
Okay, can you please explain?
Sumit, I think he's not there on the line. What he wanted to say was, how could you make a small apartment with all your automation and make it in such a way that it gives a person can sleep also, and at the same time watch TV also.
I think this is exactly something which we were discussing earlier on when we were discussing bedrooms, that the place should be can be designed in a way wherein a lot of use, and these days everybody knows that there are many beautiful partitions happening, and if we play with them and kind of make our spaces multi-utility, that thing is pretty achievable. And yes, we already I'm sure all of us are doing it. When it comes to a bedroom specifically, which he asked for, this is something which we are already doing, and we try and make those spaces multi-tasking, and you can play with the partitions. You can make certain spaces come together and segregate them. Yeah, automation can be integrated certainly in terms of I think what he's talking about is the mechanism of partition somehow, that the room closes up and divides into two parts or becomes one. That can certainly be done. Although that kind of need down here where I am situated in Punjab, in the northern part of India, space really is not a constraint. We have a huge canvas to play on, so our idea is to cover bigger spaces rather than squeeze them. So I think somebody else would answer that question.
I was talking about the small bedrooms where you don't have the luxury of dividing the room into two and having a separate sitting area and the bed area. So why, I mean, I'm not saying why not, but again, the topic was to that how can, or ideally we should be designing the rooms in a way wherein the same bedroom, which is a very small one, having probably a small sitting and a bed inside it, allowing the same bedroom to be used by a couple in which one is sleeping and the other one is watching movie.
I saw Gayathri madam raise her hand. So please, Gayathri madam, can you just answer that question?
No, I thought volumes really work in individual homes, but when you're stuck with a space in an apartment, you don't have that kind of flexibility. Even though, having said that, with technology there are noise reduction, headphones and things like that, so that you don't disturb your partner. And at the same time, you have beds where, automated beds where the mattress really comes up, to a 45-degree level if you want to get more comfortable. Most of us design bed backs in such a way that, you can sit in, you can even, lie down, or, it's made comfortable so that you can watch TV from the bed itself, which most people prefer to do. So there are so many different ways one can actually look at, solving a problem like that. I think the harder the challenge, the more, exciting it is or interesting it is to kind of come up with a solution. So, and this is always a common problem because, man wants to watch something, the woman wants to watch something else. And, this is something that we always, face when we're meeting clients continuously.
Yes, ma'am, you're absolutely right. So with wardrobes, we got one more point of discussion is who will watch the TV first. So anyways, I think
Hameeda's point of Jack and Jill will work best.
Yes, I think that is one of the best solution of Jack and Jill. So thank you very much